Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? I'm very nervous because I'm going to be reacting to the 21 horrifying European customs that Americans still can't fathom. Just can't fathom it. Okay. All right, let's see. Out of BuzzFeed. And I guess these things are just from a Reddit thread. Anyway, number 1. The fact that many Europeans can take a 2-hour lunch break in the middle of the workday. What? Ah! That's horrifying. Actually, that sounds amazing. And it's considered the norm. Is that actually the norm in Europe? I mean, I've heard this, and I know in a lot of European countries, apparently, you guys have the biggest meal is lunch. So it's also the longest meal. And just in general, you guys are, it's more of an experience when you go to a restaurant. You sit there, there's no rush. I get all that. But a 2-hour lunch break? Is it paid? That's actually, to me, now that I think about it, that's the real question. Is it paid? Because if it's unpaid, well then, okay, but, okay. If it's paid, hell yeah. Are European lunch breaks paid? I don't think Google can answer this type of question. Lunch breaks are generally not considered working time and therefore not paid. Damn it! Is it common for Europeans to take lunch breaks? No, nobody does that except Americans. Wearing Speedos in a non-sporting context? What other context? Wait. What does this mean? Non-sporting? Like swimming? Because, I mean, that's the only sport I can think of where you would wear a Speedo. But more so just like water in general is the context in which you would wear a Speedo. Are they just trying to say Speedos are more common? I would believe that because you guys in Europe are more so, like free the everything. You know what I mean? Free all parts of your body, just let it out. That's the European way. So I would believe Speedos are common. It's just a weird way to phrase that, I feel like. Non-sporting context. The German Foreign Ministry has a travel advisory that you should not photograph your children naked when you are in the U.S. at a beach. What? Oh, so this is what that subtitle was talking about. In Germany, it is quite normal for small children to bathe naked on public beaches or in swimming pools. How? That's interesting that they specifically say don't photograph your children while they're naked at the beach. That's very interesting. I mean, that's kind of a like I don't know if there's a law against photographing your own children naked. I feel like when they're really, really young, that's not that uncommon. Kind of like this photo right here. I mean, I've never seen it being done at a beach. I don't know. That's a weird subject. I don't know. But it's two different things whether or not we're talking about, is it common for little kids to be naked at the beach and should you photograph them naked at the beach? I mean, to be honest, the answer to both those questions is probably no over here in America. There are I'm not saying that word. I don't think YouTube likes it. Magazines just sitting at the front of newsstands in the middle of the city and a giant graffiti penis that nobody cares about. What? From you/deleted. That's interesting. You actually have like these on display. I think over here in America, you pretty much would have to order that online. I don't even know. Does anybody even do that anymore? That seems really old school. That everyone in Europe just sort of agrees that nothing should happen in August. It's like for a whole month, you had better not need anything done. In the US, August is a popular vacation month, but not to the same extent. Even doctors in Europe seem scarce during this vacation month. I think vacation is just scarce in general here in America, or especially among myself. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just a pretty low maintenance type of person on top of being American. So, like, I just don't really go on much vacation. I mean, I do. I do go on vacation once in a while, you know, for a few days a year, and I enjoy it. But I've actually never even thought like, oh, August. That's when I want to go on vacation. I didn't know that was a popular vacation month. I guess because it's, I don't know. It's starting. Well, I was gonna say the weather is like nice, but it's kind of starting to get cold in some places. So I guess you would go down south. Calling someone the C word. My boss is from the UK and tosses this word around so much that our HR had to remind him Americans do not be that word. The same as the British. Oh my god, I've never heard that word used in any kind of professional setting, that's for sure. For sure. That's actually a very rare word in general here in America. Like, that's considered a really bad one. That's like a particularly nasty one, you know? You'll probably get a gasp if you say that here in America. Like more so than the F word or, the B word. The C word is like, so that's just hilarious. Not tipping at a restaurant. I tried to tip. I tried not tipping in European countries, and I was not prepared for how rude I felt, despite fully knowing it was not expected or common. In my discomfort, I just split the middle and left half the usual tip I normally would. On the bright side, 100% of all servers I had were very thankful, which is not the same reaction I get in the US, where it's customary and considered part of the bill. I mean, here in the US, whenever you tip someone, it's customary for them to not come collect the tip until you're gone. So, how would you know if they were thankful or not? But I would believe it. Of course, someone's going to be more thankful for a tip when they don't normally get one. So, that's kind of nice. I guess the European waiters love it when they see the American tourists coming in, huh? Apart from how annoying they are. Holding a mass gathering without x-ray machines and bag checks. Oh, for like a concert. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, in a way, it's pretty sad, huh? But this has only become common in modern day America. This actually wasn't a thing, especially like pre 9/11. 9/11 really changed. Well, I mean, there was Columbine and then there was 9/11. Those two events, they happened very close to each other, too. And, yeah, I really wish those two events had never happened. For all sorts of downstream reasons. Drinking alcohol in public spaces in many European cities. And also, I guess I should acknowledge, I do understand, of course, it's because of the gun culture here in America. Like, yeah, you guys don't need the X-ray machines because, well, in most European countries, guns are, for the most part, illegal or highly regulated. Drinking alcohol in public spaces in many European cities is perfectly acceptable to enjoy a drink in parks or streets, while in the US it can lead to fines or legal issues. Yeah, I think that's bullshit. Can I just say that? I mean, I know I don't curse super often and that flagrantly too often on this channel, but this is bullshit. Okay? I'm a grown ass man. This is America. I thought we're the land of the free. And you're telling me I can't have a beverage in a park? As a free man? That doesn't add up to me. Now, this law does differ depending on what state and or, city you're in. There's different laws. But for the ones that ban it, I think that's un-American and stupid. Serving people room temperature water. No, Pierre, I do not want to buy a bottle of chilled sparkling water for €5. I would love for you to grab me a glass of water from the tap, stuff some ice in it, and give me that instead. Exactly the way they do at every sit-down restaurant in the entire U.S. I mean, on one hand, this guy just sounds like a pompous, annoying prick, because it's like, well, you're not in the U.S., dude. So, they're not going to do it like the U.S. You're not in the U.S. On the other hand, I do agree, it's like, it's just water. Can I just I just want tap water. I mean, that's my go-to order at restaurants, so I would find that inconvenient. I mean, I would just buy a Dr. Pepper. Do you guys have Dr. Pepper? I'd get a Coke or a Dr. Pepper. But because I don't like paying for water. And it's water. But over here in America, yeah, you get the ice water and it's all good. For free. Breastfeeding in public without using a covering. Okay. Interesting. Somewhat interesting. I feel like over there in California, they do this, you know? This is a Californian thing. Here in Indiana, yeah, I think this would be frowned upon by some people. Which is, I mean, it's stupid. Obviously, you should be able to do whatever you want. Now, also, you might get some, like, creepy dudes looking at you, which is, especially considering you're feeding a baby, that is disgusting. But, yeah, you should, women, mothers, it's already, it's hard enough. You don't need to have to worry about how to feed your baby. You shouldn't have to worry about that. In Italy, there is virtually no threshold for how much distance should be left between a speeding car and any obstacles, including pedestrians. It is zooming past. A bus driver will rush down a narrow cobblestone street with about a centimeter to spare between the sides of the bus and the parked cars, walls, ancient monuments, or playing children. Oh my god, that's insane. I need to watch some more police chases in Italy. I know I've seen one police chase that was wild through I don't know what European town, but it was like a town with narrow streets, kind of like what they're describing. And they were crazy. But the driving was incredible. That must be why you guys are pretty incredible at driving, apparently, because you drive like maniacs, at least in Italy. Which, as long as you're an incredible driver, I guess, that's fine. If Americans drove like this, I would not step outside. Finding out your new apartment doesn't come with a kitchen or floors. What do you mean floors? How did they take the floors with them? I know that, like in Germany, for example, they take all the kitchen appliances and cabinets and everything. But the floors? Eating dinner at 10 p.m. What? 10 p.m.? I cannot fathom this. Actually, I really can't fathom that. I just realized I don't think any of these have been horrifying. But this one, at least, I cannot fathom. 10 p.m., that's late as hell. In Europe, it's just a normal night out. But in the U.S., you'd be met with confused looks. And if you were planning to party with the vampires? 10 p.m. and you're just eating dinner? How late are you staying out? And you guys, I know you're in no rush, so you're eating dinner at till midnight? The hell? That's crazy. The restaurants stay open that late? Now, don't get me wrong, it's common over here in America after a night of drinking to like go get some food at 2 a.m. But I feel like that's different. The size of parking spaces. Parking spaces in the U.S. are about double the size of those in Europe. Oh my god. European vehicles are on average very, very small, and their parking spaces reflect that. That's interesting. I rented a Mazda 3, and it was a pretty tight squeeze in 99% of parkades. Never heard that word. Consider that before you decide to rent an SUV or bigger. I mean, even with the gigantic parking spots over here, you'll still have those yeet yeet trucks that take up sometimes 4 parking spots. They park on the X. But I mean that's not too common. But it's not that uncommon to see someone taking up 2 parking spots, which I consider rude. That's pretty obviously rude. Everybody considers it rude, but some people do it. Some people are like that. Minimal air conditioning. Europeans tend to rely on less air conditioning, even in warmer weather. Many Americans used to blasting the AC might find it uncomfortable. Yeah, okay, yep. In Paris, every meal takes 3 hours. Okay, we went from 2 to 3. Are you shitting me? I loved the culture, and I'm all about eating. Hold on. That means even if you're just eating 2 meals a day, that's 6 hours. You're just spending the entire day eating. And I'm all about eating and relaxing, but sometimes it was just like WTF when we were on a schedule and we had to meet up with a tour group or have reservations about something. Not putting eggs in the refrigerator. Ah, horrifying. Leaving your baby sleeping in the stroller outside of a restaurant while you have dinner? This is normal in Denmark and a few other European countries. Isn't it cold in Denmark? But gets you arrested. Yeah, that'll get you arrested real quick. That's actually pretty fascinating, isn't it? That culture can be that different. That something is commonplace occurrence in one country. And in America or some other country, you'll just be flat out arrested. And people won't even I don't even think they would care to listen to your excuse. Well, maybe they would. I don't know. It would depend on what kind of judge you got and stuff, but that would just be a really bad look. Like, most people would think that you should go to jail. I mean, over here in America, and I, for one, I'm gonna be honest, and I feel a little bit weird saying this even because it's so taboo here in America. But I think this is silly, what I'm about to say. And it's that here in America, you're not even allowed to keep your car running and run inside the gas station to pay for gas with your infant in the car. Or run inside and grab a drink, like into the gas station. Run inside, grab a drink, be back out in 1 minute. And your baby's in a car with the AC running and it's fine. There's a chance you'll get the cops called on you for that. Now, of course, it's unlikely, but because it's only a couple minutes. Now, I've never done it, and most people, I mean, I just won't do it, even though I feel like, of course, the baby's going to be perfectly safe, in my opinion. Once again, I feel weird saying it because most Americans would be like, oh, this is actually the first one. It's horrifying. Oh, my God. But it's like, what's going to happen? I mean, even you lock the doors. Lock the doors, keep the car on, run inside. I don't know what's going to happen. But you'll hear stories of people like breaking windows in people's car to rescue the baby, which under other circumstances is actually, I mean, a baby will die in a car that's off on a hot day. The baby will die quickly. So that is absolutely a no-go. Absolutely. And yeah, I'd be breaking the window too to save a baby in that circumstance. But I mean, it all depends on the circumstance, you know what I mean? Anyway, this one would actually shock Americans. Directness in communication. Europeans, especially in places like Germany or Netherlands, are often more straightforward in conversation, which might come off as blunt or rude to Americans used to more indirect communication. From what I gather, this varies widely in Europe. Like in the UK, this is not true, or in Britain, it's not true. And I'm not saying that those are two different places, by the way. But especially in Germany, the directness, yeah, I could see how that might throw some Americans for a loop. Absolutely. They might have a conversation with you and go back to their car and just cry, thinking that you hated them, and you would think it was just a normal conversation. 21. The European attitude towards nudity. Didn't we already do this one? I worked at a spa, and people from all around the world would come. One thing I noticed was how the Europeans were so comfortable with getting naked in front of others like it's nothing. I feel like spa culture in general is way, way bigger in Europe. And maybe that's a contributing factor to this. Because, yeah, when you go in a spa, you're usually naked, including here in America. You might put a towel on, but you're typically naked. But spa culture is just not very big. It's just not. Out of everyone, I'm thinking right now, out of everyone in my family and my extended family, how many hours has been spent in a spa in the last year? Maybe 0. Well, I should say specifically I'm talking about a sauna, like a hot Spa. Oh, that's it. Okay, there were 21. Wow, guys. I don't know how I'm going to recover from that. That was horrifying. But thanks for making it through with me. I enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.